The story begins in a high-tech retirement community called the Boroughs, where elderly people live. Here, a woman named Grace is alone in her house. She is talking to her husband, Edward, on a video call when suddenly, Edward gets terrified and screams to warn her, "Grace, there are owls inside the walls." Before he can say anything else, the security guards there abruptly cut his call. That same night, while Grace is lying in bed watching TV, a terrifying creature suddenly emerges from the ceiling fan and attacks her. Grace tries to run outside to save her life, but the creature drags her back inside and slams the door shut. After this, the scene changes to Sam Cooper, whose wife has passed away. Sam's daughter, Claire, and his son-in-law, Neil, have brought him to the same Boroughs community to move him in. There, they are welcomed by a manager named Kay, who explains the facility set up to them. Sam soon finds out that the house he has been given used to belong to Grace, who died there just 2 months ago, and her husband, Edward, now lives in a separate care center called the Manor because his mental condition is not well. Currently, Sam is deeply grieving the death of his wife, which makes him very irritable. He vents his anger on the house's AI system, Seraphim, and rips it off the wall. After his daughter leaves, a promotional video of the community's leaders, Blaine Shaw and Annalise, plays on the TV, showing how safe and perfect this place is. But just then, Sam's neighbor, Jack, walks into his house uninvited through the broken door. Jack has brought beer with him and insists on being friends with Sam. He invites Sam to a barbecue party, but Sam is in no mood to go. Now, while sleeping alone at night, Sam dreams of his late wife, Lily, but his sleep is broken by the noise from the neighbors, specifically, Renee's car and Art's loud music. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Art's wife, Judy, is secretly spying on Sam's background online. Anyway, the next day, frustrated with this place, Sam goes to the main building to cancel his contract and get out of there. But because of the music playing there, he suddenly gets a panic attack and goes into a flashback, where his wife Lily had suddenly collapsed and died while dancing. In this same building, we are shown the security head, Hank, and a new guard, Paz. Meanwhile, a woman named Renee complains to Hank that her precious pink stone has gone missing, but Hank dismisses it as nonsense. Later, Sam fixes the engine of Renee's broken car, but he isn't able to talk much with the people. Just then, a major twist comes in the story. Actually, Sam hears some strange noises from his bathroom and sees that Edward is hiding inside his house. Edward, in a completely deranged state, is looking for owls inside the walls, and he suddenly violently attacks Sam with a knife, injuring Sam's hand. After this, the police arrive, control Edward, and take him away from there, but as he leaves, Edward screams that Sam is also one of them. After this incident, the community head, Blaine Shaw, apologizes to Sam and says that Edward has a rare brain condition called Maxwell's that has no cure. He gives Sam the papers to leave this place, but at the same time, advises him to stay. Now, Sam decides to stay here and goes to Jack's barbecue party that night. There, he meets Wally, who is battling cancer, and the other neighbors. Everyone is talking about their illnesses and surgery scars. Now, before moving forward in the story, I want to introduce you to all the main characters of this series, so that you don't face any trouble in understanding the story ahead. First, let's talk about our main character Sam Cooper, who is a retired engineer by profession and is struggling with loneliness after the death of his wife, Lily. Second is Jack, who is Sam's neighbor and has a very friendly nature. Third is Dr. Wally, who is a doctor by profession and is currently fighting a severe illness like advanced cancer. After them comes Judy, who is the wife of a resident named Art. Meanwhile, a woman named Renee is also sitting in the gathering, who is a very active and alert woman living in the neighborhood. Apart from all these residents, there are 3 more main people who manage this community. First is Blaine Shaw, who is the head, meaning the manager, of this entire Boroughs community. Second is Annalise, who is Blaine's wife and supports him in the community's work. And third is Hank, who is the security chief, meaning the security head, of this entire society. Amidst all of them, there are 2 more important characters. One is Paz, who is a new guard who has joined this society's security staff, and the other is Claire, who is Sam's daughter and cares for her father very much. Anyway, now we move forward in the story, which makes Sam feel a little connected too, but when he remembers his wife, he suddenly leaves the party and comes back. Jack even comes to his house to comfort him. After this, Sam fixes his door and tries to settle into his routine, but that very night, an alarm signaling danger echoes through the entire community. Sam runs to Jack's house and breaks the door open to go inside, where he sees the same terrifying creature that killed Grace. The creature lunges at Sam and runs away into the darkness of the night, and Jack dies. Now, the next morning, the paramedics arrive and lie that Jack died in his sleep due to stopped breathing, meaning sleep apnea. Sam screams that there was a monster inside, but nobody listens to him, and the cunning security head, Hank, sits in a car at a distance, watching all of this quietly. Sam has another nightmare about his wife, where her body starts to glitch like a broken hologram and something tries to burst out from inside her face. Sam wakes up in a panic. Now, after the incident where Edward broke into his house, Claire calls to check on him, but when she hears Sam muttering about owls being in the walls, she gets scared too. Meanwhile, after Jack's death, strange things start happening in the community. Art, upset over his wife Judy's affair, instead of going to play golf, takes his car and flees the community forever, and Judy, completely broken inside. When Renee finds out that another woman's stones have gone missing, she asks the new guard, Paz, to file a report, but Paz flirts and says that he will only write the report if Renee goes on a date with him. At the same time, Wally, who is suffering from cancer, is pressuring his doctor for a new treatment. Sam goes to the care center to meet Edward to find out the truth. But Edward is in no condition to talk, so Sam pretends that he is Edward's son, Joey. Hearing his son's name, Edward comes to his senses and gives a major clue, that he has caught the owl and locked it away, and its key is inside the light. The community head, Blaine, watches all of this secretly from above. Meanwhile, Art, living alone in an old house in the desert, talks to his crow Broxy and grows mushrooms. He also reveals that he knew his wife Judy was having an affair with Jack. Meanwhile, Judy finds a hammer in Jack's house, goes to Sam, and expresses suspicion that Sam might have had a hand in Jack's death. On the other hand, Sam follows Edward's clue, breaks the light of his bathroom mirror, and finds a mysterious key inside it. In the meantime, something magical happens to Art in the desert. His crow suddenly twitches and dies, and hundreds of birds start dying from the sky all at once. Now, with that key, Sam opens an old storage unit belonging to Edward, where he actually finds an owl symbol and evidence inside a chest, proving that Edward was not crazy. When he returns home, the manager, Kay, is present there unannounced. Later at night, while watching TV, Sam sees a strange blue light coming from the kitchen. The scene changes to Jack's memorial service, where the leader, Blaine, is giving a speech, when Sam interrupts in the middle and takes Dr. Wally with him. Wally comes to Sam's house, and Sam shows him the blue blood of the creature. That blood kept on a spoon moves on its own and transforms into a strange, glowing cosmic form, which Wally calls a miracle. Meanwhile, Judy sees both of them through the window putting a strange thing into a bag, and her suspicion grows. The next day, Judy sees Wally carrying scientific equipment into Sam's house. In reality, Sam, who is an engineer, and Wally, who is a doctor, are working together to build a machine to research the creature. When Wally tests the blue blood, it turns out that this is not a creature from Earth at all, because its biological system is completely different. Wally says that to find out the truth, they will have to perform an autopsy on Jack's body before the funeral, and Sam agrees to this. In the darkness of the night, Sam and Wally secretly go to the morgue. Meanwhile, Renee gets a security alert at the community center. When she goes there, she finds those same missing stones on the floor and senses a shadow there, but as soon as guard Paz arrives, that shadow disappears. Over at the morgue, Judy catches Sam and Wally red-handed and sprays pepper spray on them, but when Sam tells her the whole truth, she joins them as well. Judy confesses to Sam that she had broken the rules of her marriage by falling in love with Jack. After this, when Wally performs the autopsy on Jack, he finds deep holes in his throat that go straight to the brain, meaning that the creature is eating humans from the inside. Meanwhile, the story completely flips when Dr. Wally examines Sam and Judy, and finds those same hole marks on their throats as well, meaning that the creature has already made these two its prey too. Before they can do anything, security head Hank arrives there with the police and arrests Sam, while Wally and Judy escape by hiding in a coffin. At that exact moment, while Renee is sleeping in the community, that creature emerges from her oven and quietly begins to move toward her. On the other hand, Art goes to a mysterious hut in the desert where he sees a glowing tree. He eats one of its magical fruits, and right before his eyes, the wound on his hand heals instantly. While Art is buying items at a gas station store, his hearing aid starts to glitch, and his entire body begins to change. Just then, some armed robbers arrive there, but without any fear, Art uses his new superhuman powers to defeat those robbers in a matter of seconds. The story ends with Sam, who has been taken into custody for breaking into the funeral home, and the community head, Blaine Shaw, is interrogating him. Blaine Shaw questions Sam about Jack's death and his claims regarding the monster. In response, Sam confesses that he was only looking for proof of the truth, but Blaine dismisses his words as nonsense, declares Sam's mental condition to be unstable, and threatens to send him to the care center for evaluation. However, even after putting on so much pressure, Blaine suddenly releases Sam. But before leaving, Blaine casually mentions to Sam that Edward has suddenly died, leaving Sam completely shaken. And his suspicion turns into certainty that the management is hiding a massive secret. The next morning, when Renee wakes up, she feels a strange discomfort in her throat, which has a direct connection to that same terrifying creature. Meanwhile, guard Paz tries to plan a date with her, but Renee distances herself from him, breaking Paz's heart. Sam returns home, meets Judy and Wally, and warns them that they cannot involve the police or any outsider in this matter, because Blaine has made it clear that anyone who finds out the truth, their life will be in danger. Sam is now completely convinced that Blaine is the one who killed Edward, so he decides to stop Blaine, and Judy and Wally, even if unwillingly, agree to support Sam in this. In the meantime, after eating the magical fruit in the desert, Art returns to the Boroughs filled with a completely new and magical energy. On the other hand, Dr. Wally works on a new theory that the creature consumes humans' cerebral spinal fluid, meaning the spinal cord fluid, which causes the person to become mentally weak. To test this theory, he suggests drawing fluid from Sam's spine, which makes Judy very uncomfortable, but Sam agrees to it. Meanwhile, over a minor dispute in the society, Security Chief Hank is scolding the residents, but Blaine steps in, interrupts Hank, and shows him his real power. After this, Blaine takes Hank down to the basement for a secret and dangerous meeting. Meanwhile, Renee suddenly sends Wally an SOS message, meaning a cry for help, but later it turns out that she wasn't in any danger, rather, she was troubled by her emotional stress regarding Paz, to which Wally advises her to continue the relationship with Paz. Upon returning home, Art finds one of Jack's shirts, seeing which he has to accept the bitter truth of Judy's betrayal and her affair with Jack. After this, Judy, along with Sam, goes to his daughter Claire's house so they can collect some old televisions for a trap to catch the creature. On the way, Sam pours his heart out to Judy, and tells her that he still feels his late wife, Lily, around him today, as if she were alive. Just then, Claire arrives there and gets angry at Sam because he had been ignoring her for a long time. On the other hand, Renee spies on Hank through security footage and finds an old article from 1975, which reported the death of a prison warden in a fire. In that news article, Hank's real name was written as Milton Hauser. To dig into the secret, Renee meets a man named Tim Hauser, who mistakes Renee for Milton's, meaning Hank's relative, and tells her Milton's entire history, while also showing a photo in which the man appearing with Milton looked exactly like Blaine Shaw. Meanwhile, at a bar, a woman named Annalise meets Art and secretly begins filling his mind with hatred and dark thoughts against Judy. Immediately after this, a terrible reaction occurs in Art's body, and he rushes toward the bathroom. His body becomes normal for a moment, but as he tries to eat more magical fruit to increase his power, his condition begins to worsen. He falls to the ground, helplessly begging Annalise for help, but Annalise just keeps watching him suffer with cold eyes. At the police center, while inspecting the courtroom, Paz secretly goes down into the basement, where he finds a sealed door with Hank's voice coming from inside. Before Paz can understand anything, Hank senses his presence and leaves from there. After Hank leaves, Paz steps inside that room, but what he sees inside is hidden. Just then, Hank suddenly comes from behind him and injects Paz in the neck, knocking him unconscious. Now Sam, Wally, and Judy lay their trap to catch the creature. Wally uses those old TV screens as bait while Judy waits for the creature with a gun raised. But their plan fails when the creature suddenly appears from somewhere else. Judy fires bullets at it, and they follow the blue blood dripping from the creature's body to the kitchen. The trail of blood goes straight inside the oven, from where the creature disappears again through a secret passageway. Without any fear, Sam, Judy, and Wally crawl into that secret passageway inside the oven. And they find out that a massive network of tunnels is laid out beneath the Boroughs community, and every single tunnel is connected to some resident's house. Following the trail of the creature's blue blood, they descend into an even deeper part of the ground to learn what the real truth behind Jack's death is. Meanwhile, Blaine Shaw wakes up from a terrifying nightmare about Annalise. In that dream, an old version of Annalise shows him the corpse of his own youth right in front of him, which is glitching in a strange way. When Blaine opens his eyes, Annalise is sleeping next to him as if nothing happened. Blaine mixes a glowing golden liquid into his juice, and just then, he gets a call from Hank regarding Paz. Hank demands a larger share of the money in exchange for handling the recent troubles, but Blaine reminds him in a cold tone that their deal was already fixed. After hanging up the phone, Blaine drinks that magical golden liquid and checks Paz's phone, through which he finds out that Renee has already found that old 1970 photo of him and Milton. At the hospital, when Art opens his eyes, he sees that Annalise is questioning him about his sudden youthful appearance and the thing he found in the desert. But Art refuses to tell anything and insists on leaving from there. As soon as Annalise goes outside, Art secretly checks his pocket where he finds the seed of that magical fruit safe. After this, Hank launches an ambush attack at Renee's house. Renee tries to run, but Hank hits her and knocks her unconscious. Meanwhile, on the other hand, inside the tunnels, Sam finds that exact same strange piece of a puzzle that he used to see in the dreams of his wife, Lily. As soon as that piece comes into his hand, it begins to glow and glitch, and just then, Sam sees that the blood trail is leading further ahead. Playing tricks, Blaine meets Claire and brainwashes her into believing that her father, Sam, might be losing his mental balance, which creates suspicion in Claire's mind for her father. Meanwhile, outside the town, when Renee opens her eyes, she finds herself tied up with paws inside the trunk of her own car, and Hank is driving the vehicle. When they scream for help, Hank releases the car's toxic exhaust fumes inside the trunk so that they suffer and die. Going deeper into the tunnels, Sam, Judy, and Wally finally find that injured creature. Wally, being a doctor, wants to save it, but Judy shoots it to end the creature's suffering. Sam immediately realizes that this is not the creature that killed Jack. Just then, strange and terrifying noises echo through the entire tunnel, making it clear that many such creatures are hidden nearby. As they are running away from there, Sam sees a horrifying shadow of his late wife Lily glitching right next to the dead creature. Meanwhile, Art returns to that magical tree in the desert, but that tree is now completely dried up and dead. Annalise was already there waiting for him. She reveals the secret that this town once belonged to a failed mining company, which she and her husband bought in 1940. While talking, Annalise's eyes suddenly begin to glow supernaturally. To find out the secret of Art's power, she forces him to show the seed of the magical fruit, and she swallows that seed whole. But the very next moment, she violently vomits a black liquid from her mouth, and her face turns into a terrifying monster. Learning that Art has found a different and new source of power, she goes mad with anger and attacks Art. But Art runs toward those same tunnels to save his life. Meanwhile on the road, Renee uses her community center training to loosen her bindings and attacks Hank with his own taser gun. Now Renee and Paz jump from the moving vehicle, and Hank's car goes out of control and plunges into a deep ditch. Now inside the tunnels, Annalise corners Art, but just then Sam, Judy, and Wally arrive there. Judy fires multiple bullets at Annalise one after another, but those bullets have no effect on her. Finding herself surrounded, Annalise disappears into the darkness. After this, all these people meet Renee and Paz and hide in an old diner outside the town, where everyone shares their respective information. Meanwhile, Paz reveals that these monsters are kept locked up in cages beneath the security department, which means that Blaine's people are somehow dependent on these creatures. But one mystery was still unsolved. These monsters' blood is blue, whereas what Hank and Blaine drink is a golden liquid. Anyway, now just as everyone tries to step out of the diner, several cars arrive outside and surround them. In reality, Blaine had tracked them down. Blaine takes Sam, Judy, Art, Renee, Paz, and Wally hostage and brings them back to the care center. But instead of punishing them, Blaine places a deal before them. He says that if they stop hunting these creatures, keep everything a secret, and stay inside the Boroughs, they can live their normal lives. In exchange for this, the monsters will never attack them again. But there was one condition to this deal: Dr. Wally would have to work for Blaine. Seeing no other way, Wally convinces everyone else to accept this deal. Now 3 days later, Seraphim machines are reinstalled in every house of the community, and everyone is forced to wear ankle monitors, meaning tracking devices, on their legs. Renee tries to talk to Paz in public, but another guard is keeping watch, so Paz cannot take any risks. Meanwhile Wally, on his first day of work with Blaine, meets Dr. Mansour. This is the same doctor who had once treated his cancer. Annalise offers Wally that same glowing golden liquid, and Blaine explains that this liquid can cure his cancer forever and completely stop his aging. Wally initially refuses to drink the liquid after learning this terrifying truth, but under pressure from Blaine and the others, he finally drinks it. At home, Sam surrounds himself with TV screens and machines so that if those creatures come again, he can survive. Just then, suddenly, the shadow of his late wife Lily begins to appear on all the TV screens, trapped inside the screens and begging Sam for help. Troubled by this frightening sight, Sam runs outside and tells Art that they must flee this town and call Claire, but Art warns him to keep quiet and sit tight. On the other hand, Wally learns more things about those creatures from the new security chief, Ernest. In reality, the people working there call those monsters kids, and one of those monsters, named Scar, had once escaped from there. After this, Blaine takes Wally down below the ground to introduce him to the real mystery from where all of this had started: a gigantic and terrifying creature, which they call Mother. On the other hand, in the town, Paz secretly meets Renee and shares a secret plan to escape from here during the upcoming 75th anniversary celebration of the Boroughs community. He gives Renee a walkie-talkie to stay in touch. Upon reaching home, Sam hacks the signal of the ankle monitor tied to his leg, creates a clone of it, and then cuts it off from his leg. Around the same time, Renee goes to meet Wally, where Wally finally spills the decades-old truth. He reveals that decades ago, Marcus Shaw, whom everyone knows as Blaine today, found an egg beneath the ground, from which this mother was born. By drinking that mother's blood, the aging process of Marcus and his companions stopped forever, but the mother and her children needed human spinal cord fluid to stay alive, and to satisfy this hunger, this Boroughs community was established so that these elderly residents could be turned into their bait. Renee begs Wally to escape with them, but Wally refuses because he believes that a cure for every disease in the world can be found using this creature's blood. Now that same night, Renee gathers Judy and Paz at Jack's house and completely changes the escape plan. Now she doesn't want to run away, but rather wants to end Blaine's dark business forever by destroying that mother during the anniversary celebration. Sam somehow reaches that same old diner outside the town and calls his daughter Claire for help. Claire does pick him up in the car, but instead of helping, she hands Sam directly back over to Blaine. Immediately after this, Art finds out that Sam has been imprisoned inside the care center, after which he finally agrees to team up with Renee and the rest of the people to fight Blaine. Meanwhile, Wally sees that a liquid is being extracted from the creature's body through a machine, which turns into a golden color as it passes through the pipes and is being injected into the body of an old, deformed woman. After this, we learn about Annalisa's rapidly deteriorating condition. Mother's golden blood is now failing to keep her safe and youthful, making Blaine completely furious. And it becomes clear that he has kept Wally in this job solely so that he can find a way to save Annalisa's life. Meanwhile, inside the care center, when Sam opens his eyes, he finds himself completely exhausted because those creatures had been drinking his fluid for the last 3 days. His body has become very weak and he realizes that his time is running out. Outside, the 75th anniversary celebration has begun and escaping from here tonight was almost impossible. But determined to be free, Sam remembers Edward's stories, who had once claimed that there are owls in the walls and had somehow escaped from this care center. Sam takes advantage of the noise of the celebration and starts playing loud music to create a distraction. While the crowd gets lost in that entertainment, Sam quietly slips away from there. On the way, he meets a strange woman who leads him toward the mysterious Duchess, who is said to know escape routes that nobody else knows. But the Duchess demands a cigarette to wake up from her intoxication and stupor. Sam sings Bruce Springsteen's song Thunder Road, which is connected to the memory of his late wife, to distract everyone and, amidst the noise, steals a cigarette without anyone noticing and gives it to the Duchess. Upon regaining her senses, the Duchess reveals the real secret that Edward had escaped using a hidden system built beneath the care center. Along with this, she tells Sam something so horrifying that the ground slips from beneath his feet. She says that Mother is actually communicating with him through his late wife, Lily. The shadows of Lily that Sam is seeing are not his hallucination but rather messages sent by the mother, because the mother feels that Sam can help her. Amidst this chaos, outside, Paz steals a van. Paz somehow manages to get the van through the tight security and reaches back into that controlled area. He deactivates the tracking devices tied to the legs of Art, Judy, and Renee and sneaks them out of there. Their motive was absolutely clear and direct. Before Blaine could tighten the security any further, they had to reach the care center by any means necessary and free Sam from there. Breaking inside, Paz and Art create an environment of chaos and distraction there, while on the other side, Judy and Renee set out to find Sam. Due to the alarm going off, a partial lockdown and anarchy spread throughout the entire facility. Meanwhile, a strange woman looking like a nurse attacks Sam, but Judy arrives at the nick of time and knocks her unconscious by hitting her with a fire extinguisher. As soon as Sam is freed, they immediately change their plan because the situation had now changed. On the other hand, at Sam's house, his daughter Claire is struggling to remove his scientific equipment. Just then a dealer arrives there so that they can shift a new elderly person into this house as soon as possible, because the Boroughs community constantly replaces its dead residents with new people. While working inside the house, Claire accidentally turns on Sam's same modified TV setup. All the TV screens suddenly activate terrifyingly, and the dealer gets trapped in a strange web of energy, revealing her true and inhuman monster form in front of everyone. A few moments later, that monster changes back into human form, which terrifies Claire completely, but now she was convinced that her father, Sam, was not crazy. Whatever he had said was 100% true. She immediately rushes toward the care center to help Sam. During this time, inside the lab, Wally finds a potential way to save Mother's life. He thinks that if a bone marrow transplant is done using the monster's blood, Mother's dying cells can be revived. But Dr. Mansour objects to this and warns that this procedure could kill Mother forever. Without thinking twice, Blaine shoots Dr. Mansour dead and makes it clear that there is no room for failure in this mission. He orders Wally to start this work to save Annalisa's life at any cost. But Wally now secretly changes his mind. He realizes that he can no longer watch Mother being used as a tool. Instead, she must be freed from Blaine's bloody clutches. As soon as the lockdown tightens across the entire care center after Sam's escape attempt, chaos erupts all around. Outside, Paz contacts Claire, and together they manage to break through the security perimeter there. Art arrives there driving a stolen laundry truck filled with clothes and rams the vehicle straight into the middle of that havoc, safely rescuing Sam, Judy, Paz, Claire, and Renee amidst heavy gunfire and chasing guards. Upon reaching a safe place, Sam reveals the secret he had learned inside. He says that the plan has changed now, because Mother is not our enemy, rather we will all team up to save her. While they are all fleeing in a panic, Wally calls them, terrified out of his wits by Blaine's murder of Dr. Mansour. Wally tells them that he has made his decision to free Mother and take her out of this captivity. Sam immediately changes the plan and says that instead of killing Mother, they will deliver her to those same desert caves where she was born. Amidst the noise of the 75th anniversary celebration, this becomes an extremely dangerous rescue mission, as the festive environment was giving them a temporary opportunity to hide. To blend into this crowd, Wally even dresses Mother in human clothes and handles her not like a monster, but like a weak and sick human being. But inside the care center, Blaine and Annalise find out that Mother is missing. They leave the celebration midway and activate their entire security force so that Mother can be captured before reaching the caves. However, just then, Mother reveals the real truth in front of everyone. She states that she does not want to escape. She has only wanted to die for a very long time so that this hellish cycle of exploitation and forced immortality can end forever. Wally tries to argue that human diseases can be cured using Mother's blood, but everyone else silences him. Eventually, Wally also agrees that keeping her alive against her will is downright wrong. Mother's last wish is simply to return to her birthplace, meaning the caves, and draw her last breath next to her children. With the entire town under lockdown, those same tunnels were now the only way out. Sam leads the entire group forward through the tunnels, while Judy and Art decide to stay behind to block Blaine and Annalise's path. Blaine and Annalise track them down at the community center, where Art and Judy try to distract them. This confrontation becomes extremely violent. Judy flatly refuses to reveal Mother's location, making Annalise furious enough to stab her in the stomach. Under this heavy pressure and torture, Art breaks down and reveals that they have all gone toward the caves. Blaine and Annalise immediately set out after them. Meanwhile, Paz and Renee separate from the main group and go to free those captive monsters, meaning Mother's children, from the cages, as they were needed for the final ritual. There they find Hank, who was still alive after the car accident but was completely filled with hatred inside. To take his revenge on Blaine, Hank gives them the keys to the cages, and they set those fierce creatures free, causing horrific destruction inside the entire facility. Blaine realizes that they are escaping through the tunnels, so he completely seals the tunnel doors, forcing Sam and his group to come above ground. Now, Sam's house was the only safe option left to hide in, but in a short while, Blaine and Annalise reach there as well. Sam and Claire activate their same modified TV system inside the garage at full power. The TV screens overload and emit that same destructive energy that had once killed the dealer. Upon being hit by that energy, Annalise's body is blown to pieces and she turns to ash in an instant. Blaine is severely injured in this attack, but he somehow manages to survive. On the other hand, due to being stabbed in the stomach, Judy's condition becomes highly critical and she is drawing her last breaths. Wally has no means of treatment there and she needed a hospital immediately. Just when they are all about to lose Judy, Mother steps forward. She places her hand on Judy's deep wound and magically heals it completely, pulling her back from the jaws of death. Now with Annalise finished and Blaine weakened, this entire group finally reaches that mysterious cave. Upon arriving there, Mother's body begins to glow and she starts preparing for her final breath and freedom. In a frantic final attempt, Blaine attacks Sam, but just then, the true transformation of Mother's body begins. All her children gather around her and Mother releases such a burst of energy from her body that it destroys Blaine and all those monsters together forever. With this, that terrifying system of the Boroughs community comes to an end forever. Just before dying, Mother gives Sam one last gift, a few moments to spend with his late wife, Lily. Sam is drawn back into the memory of those final moments of Lily's death, but this time, that memory changes. The two of them complete their unfinished dance, embrace each other, and after a final kiss, Lily's shadow gently disappears. When Sam opens his eyes, he is lying inside the cave amidst the remains of Blaine and the bones of Mother and her children. Paz and Renee find him. Sometime later, life in the Boroughs community appears peaceful and normal once again. The entire group is alive, safe, and sitting together. Wally survives his cancer, Art and Judy reunite, and Renee and Paz also begin living together. Sam hands over Lily's album to his daughter Claire, thus fulfilling a very old promise. But in the absolute final scene of the series, when Sam looks into his bathroom mirror, his own reflection appearing in the mirror begins to glitch strangely, exactly the same way Lily's shadows were glitching throughout the series, hinting that the story is not completely over yet. I hope you liked this video.